When renowned photographer Stephen Smith was asked to film this site for an estate agent, he was so taken with the property that he decided to build his new home here. Having sailed the Atlantic and seen pollution's impact on the planet, he resolved to initiate change in how we build and live.
What inspired you to use shipping containers?
I think it was a moment of madness. In the middle of the night, I was Googling on YouTube and saw some footage of container builds. And I was in love. I loved the idea, loved the concept, loved the upcycling of containers, loved the spirit in which I saw people doing containers. And I immediately decided to do it. There was no going back from them.
You've been very hands-on, right from the surveying to the construction.
That was the most exciting part for me because I wanted to visualize what we were able to build before we built. So yes, we used a drone to survey the ground, and we used another bit of software to model it in a 3D environment. And I was thrilled with the results. But when the containers were in place, even although I expected it, I was still pretty shocked.
What are the pros and cons of using these unconventional building blocks?
By far the best aspect of this build is having the interaction from the neighbors and the community. But in terms of the cons, I would say would be not having enough information in South Africa about containers and materials that are used in traditional building practices that you would then apply to a shipping container build.
We returned once Stephen was done. He's made every choice around recycling and upstyling. Flagpoles from Hout Bay were used to support the deck. Horse manure and wood chips from Noordhoek stables have established flower beds for indigenous plant life. And the owner has settled in comfortably too.
I wouldn't mind waking up to this view every day. How many containers does it take to build a home like this?
Well, in this case, there's 7 containers, so we have 3 downstairs, 3 upstairs, and then 1 that we just used for the structural integrity of the house. That was to underpin the cantilever and just various aspects that needed support.
80-year-old Oregon pine has been reclaimed for the floors, and the kitchen is a woodworker's dream.
Anyone would be inspired to cook with a view like this.
Yeah, Yanda, it's being able to do dishes is exciting because you've got the view this way, you've got the view out the front looking at the sea. What we wanted to do with this kitchen was just make it a big, exciting kitchen that everyone could come around. We didn't know how. We looked at the budget, it was out of our budget. Then we realized that we could get a flat pack. The countertops, believe it or not, are from reclaimed flooring, which was beech. And it was a lot of work, a lot of sanding, but it was worth every minute.
I just love how you've incorporated the rock into the house.
We just didn't have a choice. When you take 12-meter containers and you try and put them in a place that conventional designers would build around, we found a way to put them next to it and then to incorporate that rock coming up the stairs as it was. It's one of those things that just happened, but it was a fantastic thing that happened.
Complementing the surrounds, the furniture and fittings are by Eastern Cape farmers turned designers Chris Eaton and Brad Greef.
I really love the interior. It's a perfect complement to the style of the home.
We took a lot of brief from the client's visions, basically, of recycling containers, and then they actually wanted the furniture itself to be made up of recycled pieces, etc., as in the inners of the couches, the inners of the big chairs, the coffee table. It's all recycled wood, recycled timber that has been put back into use. Instead of taking down trees, they wanted to use what was existing.
I've never seen bar stools like this. They're really unique.
Thank you. That's functional upcycle art, where we've taken old street lamps, which we found in the scrapyard, cut the pieces off, and then taken old leather chairs where we've taken the leather just to soften the hardness of the steel.
The dining room table really stands out.
It's the size of the chunk of the wood that actually brings in the elements into the house, the same as the containers being big and bulky. We've kind of like simulated big with big, and it just worked out.
The Audrey Hepburn portrait lends rustic glamour, and this wooden sculpture is an old railway sleeper. The interiors aligned with offcuts of insulation material for refrigeration, and every space offers upcycling opportunities.
It feels like every piece of furniture in this home tells a story.
Yes, it does. It actually starts with Stephen, the owner of the house's photographs. Being a well-known photographer, his most important works are those of Cape Town, which he's chosen to put into the house. Also, the painting behind was taken from a lot of what we saw around us and the moods of the owners of the house. Bradley interpreted that onto the painting onto the wall, the same way the chair over here was made especially for this area, being light that you could see right through it into the view, but yet you could sit here and read and enjoy the space.
Another place to catch up on your book is the bathroom. This rescued beechwood flooring gets to enjoy a second life, along with mirror molds taken from an old pirate ship on a film set. Each piece tells a tale.
I didn't imagine this space to be so big and so spacious, and the views are gorgeous.
It's actually breathtaking, the color of the water, and that's what we reflected in the colors that we've used in the room, from the paint to the headboards, the chaise lounge, even the carpets were chosen from the colors that we picked up during the day that came off the water. The beautiful floor that was once a squash court floor in Somerset West that Stephen rescued, picks up the colors in the rocks and the sand outside and the natural elements we see.
Keeping with the theme of upcycle, we've used old Victorian windows as bedside cabinets and built the cabinets around that with shipping containers, old shutters from old windows, old Victorian veranda chandeliers. If you look in the other room, we've taken old Volkswagen headlamps and we've turned them into bedside lamps and kept with creative things.
Truly, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Why would you scavenge for things as opposed to buying them new?
Well, people take things, throw them away, and they're unused, and then they're taken and turned into something that is worth more again and usable and valuable, saving the planet, saving the environment.
Stephen's desk is made from an old barn door, the shelving from logs and reclaimed steel. Behind the rustic finishes, rain and grey water runs into tanks to fill cisterns and water the garden. Nothing is wasted.
You all have done such a wonderful job. Stephen, what was it like working with Brad and Chris?
Artists after my own heart. We've enjoyed every aspect of it. They've taken ideas that we've had, they've amplified it, they've added their own touch, which is very important to us, and come up with interesting, sometimes odd ideas, turned them into fantastic works of art. We appreciate everything that they've done. We couldn't be happier.
Do you have a favorite area in the house?
You know, there isn't a favorite part. It's all about where you are in the house, at what time of day. It's about being in the now, looking at the space around you, interacting with the space around you, and just enjoying it. Honestly, this house has it all. It's such a beautiful house.
Well, cheers to container homes.
The team challenges us to save our environment by reusing, finding the beauty in upcycling, and making a change.